Get out of survival mode by being really greedy with what you want and asking for more. Give yourself permission to want more in your life and understand that wanting more doesn't actually make you greedy. It doesn't make you a bad person, and it's not a bad thing. It's actually a very natural, um, it's natural. And we all should want more for ourselves. We all should grow in our desires and in our goals and in our dreams because human nature or nature in itself, the point of nature is growth, is to keep creating and growing and expanding. So, as human beings, we are also alive and we are created with the same life force creative energy. So, we are meant to want more. That's how we expand, that's how we continue to compound, right? Be fruitful and multiply. So, you wanting more for yourself, for your life, in whatever forms that comes in, whether it is in love, whether it is money or material things, that's a huge one. Allow yourself to want things even if it is frivolous, even if it is not logical, because we live in a world created of masculine and feminine energies. And the masculine is structured, it is logic, it is reason, but the feminine is mysterious. It is the shadow and the depth. It doesn't need, it is intuitive, it is intuition, it is discernment. It doesn't need reason. It just is. It is the being. So, the first thing we need to do is to release all shame and all guilt from our natural inclinations and desires. A lot of that has been conditioned within us through upbringing, through childhood. Um, I would say a lot of people have experienced childhoods where money was scarce. Um, Everything felt like there wasn't enough. And that's just because our parents were perpetuating a cycle of poverty and lack due to what they learned from their parents. Now we are at a point in time where we have the most resources, we are the most abundant, and we almost don't even know what to do with all of this abundance because our primary or animal instincts have been wired towards survival and lack. That's just what we've experienced, our ancestors have experienced for millennia. So understand that is the conditioning that we were born with, but it does not need to be the identity that we operate out of. It takes conscious reprogramming. But step one is dream big. I think a lot of people already shoot themselves in the foot by judging their desires, by telling themselves, I'm not allowed to have that thing, or who do I think I am to want that thing? And this can manifest in shaming others, in judging other people, looking at people with more than you, and putting them in a category where they are a bad person, or even putting yourself on a pedestal, on a moral pedestal, because you have less than them. Let's stop that and let's now see things as the world is abundant. The world has all the potentiality to give every single human being everything that we desire. If every single human being on this planet wanted 100 Lamborghinis, we would be able to all have 100 Lamborghinis. The reality is, though, no, we're not all going to want 100 Lamborghinis. And that's why the world continues to spin and everything is in equilibrium because we all have different desires. Some people's desires are way more than someone else's desires. And there is no scale or limit to those desires. It is just what you give it's what you give yourself permission to have and to ask for. But step number 1 is, can you be honest with yourself and get still and shut out all the noise, strip away all the layers, all of the conditioning, all of the shoulds, and listen to your heart. What do you want? What do you truly want? And it's not going to be logical sometimes, but can you give yourself grace and permission to have that thing? Because that is the secret to actually receiving, even before the thing has shown up. The thing about manifestation is you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So if I want a cash injection in my life, but I don't feel aligned, I don't feel resonant with riches, with more, I don't feel safe to receive, I will never actually receive that thing. It is more a feeling state than it is a mental state. So, can you allow yourself to genuinely feel the feelings of abundance, feel the feelings of love, feel the feelings of worthiness, even before the thing has shown up, without giving yourself a prerequisite for what you need to do, who you need to be in order to receive? And one more thing I will add is holding the pose of being in an abundant mindset. Really, all that means is understanding there's never going to be any competition for you. Someone else having more will never mean you have less. Abundance means more than enough to go around. So when you see someone else living the life of your desires, can you allow yourself to feel love and joy and gratitude instead of jealousy or lack or envy? Because when you are living in an abundance mindset, you see everything as a reflection of your own desires. And this takes conscious rewiring, this takes moment to moment mindfulness practice. But what you're doing is you're training yourself subconsciously to see everything as a blissful unraveling and gift for you. That is what life is. The statistics of you and I being alive today, for you to watch this video, for me to make it for you, are so low. I mean, all of the possibilities that we could have been wiped out, and yet we are here today, means that we are here for a reason. We are here because, and I like to believe this, God wanted us to be here. There is a greater why. And with that being said, training ourselves to be in an abundance mindset, allowing ourselves to go after what we want without needing to figure out the how, because that's not our job when we live in a world with God, with creative source, with energy, with potentiality. Again, we are simply God experiencing Himself through the context of our identities. The world becomes your playground. Because now you understand everything that you're seeing on social media in real life, in the movies, you're seeing for a reason. And all of that are clues and breadcrumbs from your divine self to remind you and to activate that identity within you that already has the thing. Everything, life is your catalog. Life is your vision board, your dynamic 4D, 5D vision board. What you see when you're like, ooh, I really want that, it activates a desire. Instead of jealousy, you can feel inspiration. You can feel excitement. You can feel the anticipation knowing that I am being shown this because one day that's going to be me. These are previews to the movie that is my life. And can we suspend our need for certainty, our need to figure it all out, and allow God to do the heavy lifting, passing it over to the divine? And we get to do the fun part, which is the dreaming, the conjuring, the visualizing, the imagining, the desiring. So, with all of that being said, leave in the comments, what are you calling in? What are you now going to let yourself fully have and receive, regardless and without the need to figure out the how and without the need to intellectualize it? What is that thing that you are calling in? Leave it in the comments. I'm so excited to read what you are, what your desires are, and I love you so much. I will see you in the next one.